In this video, we're going to look a little bit closer into my sky pond, or the fish koi pond viewing towers. We're going to look at the benefits and the drawbacks. We'll look at the pros and the cons of owning these things. And we'll try to answer the question, are they really worth it? So koi pond fish towers, or my sky pond as I like to call it. So why have I got it? When did I get it? Well, I've had it sort of 2-3 years now. In fact, to be honest, I introduced this to another pond. The whole concept of being able to put an aquarium, an old aquarium, turn it upside down, put it on a frame, draw the air out, draws the water in, and it allows the fish to sort of use it or not, and float in and out of it at their leisure. The way I encourage it is to put fish food up into the tower, and then as the fish see it, off they go, and they sort of get used to being in the tower itself. But why did I put one in my pond? Well, when I was building the pond, we were having discussions in the family about where it was going to sit and how it was going to look. And we had an old pond that was like a horseshoe pond at the time, and that's where the concept had first come from, to put in a sky pond or a fish tower. Now, when I first started building my new pond, the one you're looking at now, the idea was to have the window on the outside where the seating area is going to be. But my wife said, no, we'll put the seating area at the other end. So hence why the window went there. So at the top end, where you see it every time you watch my videos, that's where the window is now. Then at last minute, we decided to change the viewing area to the side of the pond, which is here. Which means that when you're sitting by the pond, all you're looking at is a wall. You're looking at a brick wall. You can't see the fish, you have to stand up and then actually peer down into the pond. So what I decided to do was to introduce the sky pond to the tank in the area it is now. So when I'm sitting in the seating area, which is right behind me now, I can look across and I can see the fish, because at the moment I was just looking at this wall, which really is no good to man nor beast. Now, one of the main challenges you have when you're putting these sky ponds in is how you're going to hang it off the side of your pond, or are you going to put it on a frame in the middle of your pond? So I've seen lots and lots of other people who have gone down the same route as this and put these viewing towers in, and they've just created a frame, put it in the bottom of the pond so it ledges on the bottom, and then turn the aquarium upside down, put it on the frame, and then draw the air out. But what I decided to do with mine was to hang it off the side of the pond, because the bottom of a pond is sloped towards the bottom drain, which would mean it could potentially move and then potentially fall off and then potentially break, and so on and so forth. So I decided to hang it off the side, but I had to get this frame created by my local fabricator. Now, the frame itself is stainless steel, because I wanted to ensure that obviously it's sitting out here in all elements, it's sitting in the water as well, and then the welding that the guy did to weld it all together was done by TIG welding, which again doesn't rust. So let's have a look at the pros and the cons of owning and fitting one of these sky pond towers. Look at the cons first. Algae build-up on the glass. That can be a pain. If the weather's really sunny where you are all the time and it's not under shade, then yeah, it will go green inside on the glass a lot. I've found that it kind of takes around about 2 weeks to get to the point where I definitely have to take it off, because it's starting to look a mess. This has been off now. I cleaned this about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and it hasn't come back as yet. So looking pretty good at the moment, but I'm sure if I left it out in the sun a little bit longer, and it would start getting all green inside. Now, it only takes 10 minutes to sort of clean this thing off. It probably takes longer to empty it, take it off, than it does to clean it. So it's not a massive job to take them off and get them cleaned again and put them back on again. You know, I've kind of shown in the past that it doesn't take long at all. An old kitchen sponge that you've thoroughly rinsed out to make sure there's no detergent left in it, and then that just sort of wipes it through and cleans it off. So it doesn't take a great deal to do it, but that is one of the cons. I've also found one of the big cons for me is getting food stuck down here. As you can see, I've probably got some stuck down here now. So as the fish pick up the food, and any they drop sometimes lands in the back of the sky pond. Now I have to get that out pretty pronto, because otherwise it'll start rotting, and then it creates the wrong bacteria in my pond. So I have to spend some time getting this stuff out. Sometimes on a daily basis, it takes me 5 minutes. Sometimes not at all, because it depends on how and where I feed the fish. It depends on any they drop that don't land in this area. But yeah, this area behind the back of the sky pond can be a bit of a pain, because I'm having to collect waste food out that area. And also it's difficult to clean behind here as well. As you can see, I have to wait until the sky pond is up before I can actually get some cleaning done around the back of the sky pond itself. Now I'm not sure whether to call this a con or not, but choosing the right size of these tanks for your pond is quite critical as well, because I know when I had my first sky pond, it was great because the fish were of a size that they would fit in. But then over the sort of the next 12 months, 18 months, the fish started growing to the size where they were getting stuck. Well, they weren't actually getting stuck, but they looked like they were about to start getting stuck in the sky, into the tower, if there was more than one of them in there. So you've got to kind of be sort of thinking forward with, if you're getting one of these things to fit them in, think forward about how big your fish are going to get eventually, and then they'll be able to get in and then get back out again. So the obvious main pro for me is I can see the fish from whatever angle I stand at. I can be standing all over the place. I can have a wander around the pond. I can be standing from over here and still see it from there. Or have a wander around and still be able to see it from wherever I am in the garden, whenever the fish are up in the sky pond. Now something else that I think also is one of the pros of having these things is it gives the fish something else to do. Rather than just swimming around the inside of a tank, looking at the walls all the time. Obviously if you've got the windows, then they can look out the windows. But because I haven't got the biggest window on this side, is it gives them the ability to come up out the pond and have a look at us. So it's almost like I'm watching them, watching me, watching them. Now I've also found that not all my fish like the sky pond. I would say there's probably only half of my fish that actually use the sky pond itself. The other half just have never ever been into the tank. So for whatever reason, I have no idea. I always try to encourage them up with a bit of food inside, like I've done now. You can see Sid, he just likes, he's one of the main culprits of being up in the sky pond, and he'll spend hours just floating around the sky pond, looking at what's going on in the garden, watching me, watching him, watching me. My Chag likes to spend a bit of time, and right on cue, here he comes. So there's not all the fish like to go into them. And also you can go for bigger tanks. I'd love to be able to experiment and go with a tank that takes up the whole end of this pond. You know, that would be ace. But I don't know, that'd be another project and another frame and another tank. So if you're thinking about getting one of these tanks, I mean, the best way to do it is go on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, or, you know, places where people are selling second-hand stuff. Because these things really are just second-hand aquariums that people want to get rid of, that you just adapt and adjust to put them in your pond. And to be honest, if I hadn't have put the window where I hadn't put the window around the side there, I probably wouldn't even have put the sky pond in. You know, I'd have kind of thought, do I really need it? Is it worth it? Because I've got all these windows all the way around the pond that I can see the fish anyway. So yeah, if you've got a pond that's even the ponds in the ground it works with, it's just as long as you can adapt the frame and just bring the whole pond out of the water. And why not? Now I'm recording this in November, so the temperatures are dropping right off now. So what I always try to do each year is to take away the sky pond as the temperatures start dropping, because what you find when you fit these things in is that the air temperature affects the temperature in your pond more, because you've got a big block of water sitting outside of the pond, above the pond. So for example, when in the summer when it's really, really warm, the temperature inside the sky pond is usually a degree higher than it is in the pond. So it's not a massive change, because I've tested that theory, and you don't get a massive change in it. What you find is you just get like a degree. So because of the sky pond being out in the open now, and the air temperature would have been a lot colder. So for example, the air temperature now is only 5 degrees, but the pond temperature is actually 11. So what I found, because the air temperature is dropping off now in the UK, is that it's starting to drop the air temperature around the pond, around this big block of water, which is start affecting the pond temperature itself. So the pond temperature itself has actually dropped a degree over the last couple of days because the air temperature is affecting that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the sky pond off. I always take the sky pond off every winter because the last thing I want is a block of water freezing or affecting that and breaking the glass. So I know you might say there's a lot of water in there, I don't think that freeze. Well, to be honest, I don't really want to test that theory. I know this is KoiPondLifestyle and I like to test things, but I ain't willing to test if that freezes and doesn't break the glass, because if it does, then I'm in a whole world of pain. So I'm going to take this sky pond off now, give it a quick clean, then it'll go in the garage along with the frame. Frame comes out as well, and it'll all sit in the garage waiting for spring next year. So conclusion, sky ponds, fish towers, are they worth the while? I think they are. I think if you've got a pond like mine, where you can't see the fish from a certain angle, or if you have a pond where you don't have any windows in it, you know, you could actually benefit from putting one of these things in, and maybe your fish benefits from it as well. You know, you're able to spend some time just sit looking at the fish, and it kind of helps with your mental well-being. Be able to see these lovely fish we have floating around in midair while you're out in your pond. So for me, yeah, I think it really helps for me to have this in my pond if I hadn't had the windows in, because I haven't got the windows down the side of the pond. These things definitely benefit me, and I think they benefit the fish as well, because I think they love it. So thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe, share, ding the bell for notifications, and click that like. It does, honestly, click the like. Thanks very much for watching KoiPondLifestyle.